welcome to another episode of Formula Pod. And as always, the entire crew is down here. Smiling very nicely, and he's like, "Okay, bro, I've done some good amount of stuff over the week." And then we have our usual guy, Jason. As in, for him, pretty much it's the same thing happening on a day-to-day basis, though. Welcome everyone.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? How's everyone doing?
Anyways, so since we told this on the very first in our trailer itself, we'll be bringing out the gossips in the Formula One grid. So that's why this is officially called the Grid Gossips. Okay, this is a special which we're gonna start doing between every race week. If there is like a gap between each race week, we will come up with something called as the Grid Gossips. Doesn't it sounds pretty well, right? Like the
We need
GG.
to patent this. We need to patent this, or else it's gonna go like this.
Well, let's see let's see how things turn out today. Like everything is depending on today's episode and stuff. Anyways, so let's actually kick off with the first gossip. Okay, will Lewis Hamilton leave Mercedes for something else to another winning team? Because considering Mercedes is not ending up winning anything, what do you guys think? Let's start off with me here.
Okay, so I'm going to be very honest. Lewis is not going to leave Mercedes for sure, and the reason why I'm so confident while saying that is because, well, one obvious reason is Mercedes has invested a lot in Lewis Hamilton. Right now, it's either he continues in Mercedes or he leaves Formula One at all. So at this point, if Lewis thinks of changing and going to another team, I think that would mix things up a bit. I mean, a lot. And I don't think Lewis would do that. Lewis is getting he's the highest paid driver there, getting paid $75 million. Okay, and that's all I'm gonna say. I think it's a bit too much, man. I don't think Lewis is stupid enough to change teams, but he definitely is. I'm pretty sure he's thinking about it for sure, because seeing Mercedes' results from last year and this year, there's not much improvement. And I'm going to be honest, Red Bull is pretty much on top of its game with aerodynamics, with speed, with driver, with the confidence as well. So, Jason, what do you think, Jason?
Lewis isn't getting any younger, so time is running out. And the eighth, he needs the eighth. He wants the eighth. And maybe there's a chance that he leaves Mercedes. I'm gonna go against him here on this. There is a possibility. You never know.
Well, you cannot tell the age factor over here, bro. Like Fernando Alonso, look at that man.
Fernando is a different guy. He's a topic for another day. But isn't Lewis's contract ending this year?
Yeah.
By the end of the season?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's not only Lewis's contract; it's even Toto Wolff's contract ends this year.
Yeah.
So again, Toto also has the kind of pressure in terms of delivering the performance what Mercedes had.
Imagine Mercedes lose both. Imagine Mercedes lose both.
Wow, then that's going to be like Crisis 101. No, but then see, come on, at the end of the day, Toto would still be there because he owns what? If I'm not wrong, a third of Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula One team. So he would still be there. It's just that he might not be in team principal capacity. Could be in some other capacity. So like in a CEO capacity, like how Andreas Seidel is there in Alfa Romeo. But what I would rather say is Lewis. If Lewis leaves, he's got a lot in loss, because if suppose say his contract doesn't get renewed, okay, that's like a situation, that's a very, it's a 50-50 chance, I would rather call, because he's got a brand and Mercedes wants that brand. If he ends up going for Ferrari, then it's just going to be like all the brand partnerships which he has would actually snap off quickly. He has got some insane brand partnerships. And I don't think I seriously just don't kind of buy it though. Even though say Christian Horner was asked this whether Lewis would be given a seat in Red Bull, and he was like, I think we are good with our current drivers. We don't want to kind of. I don't find Lewis a place in Red Bull, and feel like Mercedes will figure that out, irrespective. It's not like
Look,
it'll happen.
I'm gonna put in on this. See, Lewis has become the Michael Schumacher of this era, right? People don't know Michael Schumacher. People know Michael Schumacher, but people do not know Michael Schumacher. Know Lewis Hamilton. They don't watch Formula One, but they know Lewis Hamilton. I'm pretty. I asked her. So I did this thing where I asked around people, "Do you watch Formula One?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Lewis Hamilton." I was like, "Yeah, that's the first thing that comes in my brain, Lewis Hamilton."
Yeah.
Right? Because Lewis Hamilton has a lot of sponsorships with these brands like obviously Mercedes, IWC, the watch. They have a really big outlet with the Formula One car in Dubai Mall. That's number two. Number three, Lewis Hamilton was sponsored by Hugo Boss at one point. So he came in the limelight back then as well. This was like a few years ago when he was driving with McLaren. This was when McLaren and Mercedes were one. And UBS, and this whole thing where where Toto Wolff banged his headphones, both headphones that blew up as well, and Monster.
Even the police eyewear.
Yeah, police cyber Lewis Hamilton, even the caps. I mean, Lewis Hamilton is not just a person. He's not just a brand. I think he's a community. It's like BTS. I don't want to say that. It's like BTS.
Wow, my God, the comparison for like Lewis Hamilton and BTS, like okay, all those.
You get what I mean?
You can brand this podcast as Lewis is same as BTS. Just gonna catch some eyes.
You know what? I honestly don't want to say end up being like tomorrow's controversy, and then get all those like, oh, a Dubai-based podcast ends up comparing Lewis Hamilton with BTS.
But the thing is, like BTS, obviously people like BTS, like no judge. But like I'm just saying, it's not as cringe as BTS. But you know what I mean, right? There's
I know.
Yeah,
let's
Lewis
not get the words kind of there with the cringe and all those, because they might end up throwing things on us. Anyways, coming back.
We're gonna use this for socials.
Oh man, like trust me, this is just insane. But then, like, yeah. Anyways, coming back to the entire situation though, something else also came up. Say now with almost every driver at Melbourne, and say, but then one person wasn't in Melbourne; he was in Madrid. That was the dear own Formula One CEO Stefano Domenicali. Over the week when I was just doing my regular work, realized he was the ex-boss of Lamborghini. I didn't realize that. And then there was that kind of a thing. I didn't know that, but still. So Formula One actually opened this F1 exhibition in Madrid, where actually say it's just like a paradise for all three of us, I would rather call. And it is also got like the chassis of Romain Grosjean's burnt Haas from Bahrain 2019, if I'm not wrong. No, 2020. 2019, right? 2020. Yeah, 2020. So all those things there, and he mentioned from there down there was that free practices, the FP1 and FP2, are great for engineers, but are very boring for viewers. Okay, what is your take on this? Let's start off with Jason.
People are gonna hate me. People are genuinely going to hate me. But I also believe that it's not a waste exactly for us to watch, but it is boring. Yeah, it does get boring. But it's again useful for the engineers and for the team. But for viewers like us, it is boring. And you may call me a fake fan, but it is what it is, because there's no thrill that's going on, or there's no excitement that's over there. They're just people going out to test their cars and test whatever they want to ahead of the race. That's just my opinion. Mihir, what do you think?
Again, you're not a fake fan. I mean, majority of Formula One fans who watch Formula One do. It's okay to miss practice sessions. It's fine. Even whenever I'm like busy, if I miss a practice session, I'm very okay with it, because I know what really matters is the race day, right? So I kind of agree with Jason, but as a Formula One enthusiastic watcher and fan, I would prefer having practice sessions because look, we can see where these guys have improved. Like a Mercedes fan, even a small turn that as maybe a gain, maybe 2 seconds, not 2 seconds, like half a second, is giving us some type of confidence. Like, okay, something good would happen in the race. It's like trailers for the actual race. So I kind of feel that watching it is good, for the engineers, for us, who people who actually want to see the small little improvements. But I agree with Jason as well. It's pretty boring unless until there's no drama happening there. So
Well, okay, I have a very different opinion though. So free practice, like say, I make it a point to watch all the races. Okay, but then like there, as you've mentioned, there are times when I also kind of missed. Either could be like because I don't have like Wi-Fi connection or something when I want to like watch, because it's a nightmare to kind of stream Formula One over here, like in this part of the world. Thanks to some nice things which F1 did, that say we don't have F1 TV Pro, and even though I paid once for F1 TV Pro, and then I realized, oh shoot, I'm not getting the live race, I'm only getting radio. I'm like, that's not what I want. But like, yeah, with this, see, what I would rather say is that you're basically getting a first-hand trailer of how the race is going to be. Okay, like of course on the race there are a lot of unpredictable things that happen, but then at the end of the day, it's just that say, okay, from a racing enthusiast perspective, that's basically your kind of chance to kind of see what is the car doing in terms of strategy and stuff. And like, yeah, with certain races, I'm going to agree that it is boring. Say for example, if you're doing like a free practice in Mexico, because last year the Mexican Grand Prix was boring. Like I have to kind of put it out there. Like all Mexican fans out there, like say I'm sorry on this, but then like Mexican Grand Prix was boring because there wasn't any action. Like even I would say the same for say Monaco, because all the action stays in qualifying, because who qualifies first, who ends up doing this thing, like because in Monaco it's kind of like a tight narrow track, like overtakes are almost like an impossible task except in that one DR zone, and unless like pit stop strategies end up getting messed up, like for example like for Charles Leclerc how it ended up being. I think free practice should be there. It's just and then I'll just be like, I'll not say like it should be kept for long, like say for 90 minutes or something, like it's 90 minutes or 60 minutes.
It's 60 minutes.
60 minutes. Okay, I'll not say like keep it for 60 minutes. I would rather say keep it like for like a half hour or something. I don't understand. Commercially speaking, these free practices are also sold, and these people get money out of it. Like say even free practice days, we end up having concerts down here in Yas Marina circuit. Crazy concerts here. I cannot kind of get that logic in my head.
Abu Dhabi is a party playground when F1 comes. So let's not take that as a good example.
Okay, then let me put it.
But maybe Italy or somewhere, wherein if you have a practice session over the sprint race, or the qualifying on Friday and then the sprint on Saturday, that would easily get them more sales and more revenue. So maybe they could replace this with the sprint races and the qualifying earlier. And that makes more sense.
That's happening right now. It's like
that is, but maybe just increase that, or increase the number of sprint races that are happening.
No, as in say they have increased it this time. Last year, which was what 3, now we are having 6 races, and say one is literally down in Qatar. And like I seriously wish if I could like go there and watch. Like I'm kind of getting all my plans prepared for that. And like, but then like I would rather say keep it, but then not on a very extended. Rather can kind of come up with something else. Say like in Formula 2, they do sprints, but then in a reverse qualifying way, where the person who qualifies first ends up starting at the last, and then kind of tries their way and make it go to the front.
That is okay. Like, look, I kind of get that. I kind of get why, because the fastest car should be at the back, because he should technically overtake all of them because he's the fastest car, right?
Exactly.
Which makes absolute sense. Again, if you do that in Formula 1, that's going to cause multiple things. One is traffic.
True.
Second, yes, the race would be very interesting, but that would cause a lot of accidents.
that's there. As in, going to totally agree with what all you said. But from an enthusiast perspective, seeing that, as in, okay, drivers would have the difficulty. People who start in the back, they would be frustrated in terms of, say, oh, too much traffic. We cannot kind of navigate ourselves through. That's there. But at the end of the day, it's because Formula One is now turning out to be not a sport. It's like a proper entertainment machine. Okay, that's why we have Las Vegas on the calendar. If you want that entertainment factor, I would rather say keep the reverse grid sprint and kick that off, because it doesn't see because see if you're seeing a situation where Red Bull ends up winning everything, it's boring. It's absolutely boring.
I like how this is coming from a Mercedes fan after dominating all these years.
I'll tell you this: when Mercedes was dominating, I only saw, say, 2 seasons. Now with 2 seasons of Red Bull, it is
Now you know. Now you know how it feels. Now you both know.
yeah. I of course, like we have realization, like slapping our faces up nice hard.
I'll be very honest, okay? I mean, being a Mercedes fan, Red Bull they never lacked in pushing. They kept pushing. So eventually, we all knew that Red Bull is gonna overcome and overtake Mercedes at one point. So I'm very happy for Red Bull, and with all due respect from my heart as a Formula One lover, I give them a big respect because the Red Bull team really pushed it, and applaud to them. They actually did something that no one would think they would do few seasons ago. So you really see them pushing so hard. So they never gave up. They always kept pushing. So you know what? Hats off to Red Bull, honestly.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Well, Red Bull.
And look at that, a Ferrari fan says that.
Don't do that. Don't do that like this.
I will, bro. Seriously, you're coming all with Red Bull gives you wings. Please be my guest and let's talk Ferrari.
Okay, I just want to make a confession. I'm so sorry, guys. Actually, I'm have an interview with Red Bull tomorrow.
Oh no! As what though? Like, what?
About you.
Damn. Okay, now that's gonna be like an interesting take though.
Yep.
A Mercedes fan working in Red Bull. Oh my god! It's just that say you kind of reach into that junction where you're really confused on supporting whom and
Like
what
as
and why.
soon as I step in the office, I'm like, oh my god, Max Verstappen's the best. As soon as I get out, I spit everything out. I'm like, yuck. How do I say that?
But like, yeah, okay, all the best of that. But then we need to go back and talk about the Green Bulls now.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'll not call them. I'll not tell on the Green Bulls. So the Papayas or the McLarens started playing the game from Aston Martin's playbook. So at a point, say 2 years down the line, Aston Martin went on this very aggressive hiring spree and like getting in all the best talents possible from Red Bull, from Mercedes, from Ferrari, and end up coming up with this like super team, which basically right now is giving them the results what they want. Okay, so with McLaren coming up with their wind tunnels and all those things, like today there was on Instagram of Lando Norris down at the McLaren wind tunnel centers at walking. So like yeah, for them like they'll eventually get the wind tunnel thing running. But then McLaren ended up hiring the aero dude, the aerohead at Aston Martin. Okay, so here's the thing. Since all these things are happening and since Jason doesn't like Zach Brown at all, Jason, do you think now Zach Brown is doing something a little more legible enough for you to call him a bit more smart?
No,
Why?
it's part of the L plan. These guys have sent a decoy into the McLaren base, so no, their car is not going to improve. They're not going to improve for the rest of the season. Yeah, that's all I have to say. It's a decoy. So yeah.
Okay, here.
I think that's a big statement from Jason. I know it sounds pretty You think they won't improve at all this season? I think that's a big statement, Jason. And I feel like I think they'll improve. I think not that they'll come top 5, but even coming up the ladders or maybe top 10, it's an improvement for them. So, I mean, we don't know what kind of problems they're going to have this season. So we really don't know what to expect from them. But maybe this move might turn into something that we don't expect. So I still have hope in all the Formula One teams, obviously, because they're spending so much money. There has to be some type of result.
Of course.
So Jason, maybe Jason's right. Maybe I'm right. So we'll have to just see what happens next.
Arjun, what do you think?
I think it's okay. McLaren's first 2 races actually has rung a lot of bells down at Woking, and for them, and now Zach has got the actual pressure down his throat, and because team like McLaren, who's having racing legacy, and it's like one of the teams which didn't end up transferring each like from one another. It always ended up keeping the McLaren name like from beginning onwards of its introduction in Formula One. I feel what they're doing right now, again, like good on them, say getting the dude from Aston Martin, but then this might sometimes end up being a bit on the higher feud situation. Okay, because if Aston Martin does the same thing, if McLaren does the same thing, these people are throwing in X amount of money. It's just going to be unfair on the teams on the lower end. Say they might not end up having people, as in on the higher end as well. Because say if you have places available on the higher teams, all the lower ones will go on to the higher teams. Say better pay, better living situations, all those. It's not that same. I'm not saying that other teams don't, as in they would have. Then it'll be a little more elevated with, say, when you're working with a Mercedes or with a Red Bull or with a Ferrari. So I would rather say this one is too early to kind of say give my final word. I would say I would need to wait till the spring break, the summer break. So say, I believe Spa is our last race before summer. So till Spa, we got to kind of wait and see how it's getting performed. How is the performance ending up to be? Is there any difference? If so, then only I would say then I would kind of talk about this.
Can I go again?
Yeah.
That's
But like
McLaren hiring the guy from Aston or the girl from Aston is a last ditch attempt to save their season. By the way, that's how I see it.
Cool.
And the way they've done it is, I'm gonna pay you this amount. You're gonna come and you're gonna help me. But then what if this guy doesn't exactly have the knowledge or whatever? You never know. Again, not making the assumptions or undermining the person, but the situation.
But then, speaking about teams as such, I don't know, have you guys noticed? Red Bull is on a move to kind of rebrand the AlphaTauri team. So AlphaTauri till now has got 2 rebranding exercises happened. One is with Toro Rosso, which was absolutely fine. Like, it sounded also nice. And then you got AlphaTauri, which I'm like, what on earth name that was in the first place? Okay, so now it's like Helmut Marko he's a chief advisor at Red Bull. He says, okay, time for us to change. It's just that we'll change because AlphaTauri is not being sold everywhere. And say they are super expensive. Like, I'm refraining myself from using any swear words over here because they are insanely expensive. So what do you guys think? Like, okay, a name change like this, like, okay, is this more of like they're not having a good season though. Previous seasons as well as this current season, based on the 2 races, they're not having a good season because no points till the second race. They are having the actual Red Bull powertrain's engine, so you cannot blame on the engine because the engine is a very superior engine we are talking about over here. What do you guys think? Is it more of like they're just going to kill the brand, start everything at fresh, do something even more and like better, and end up coming up on top, like how Sebastian Vettel bought Toro Rosso up? Like, Mihir, go on. You can start off since you have like a Red Bull interview tomorrow. Go on.
I find all sister companies or the whole concept of sister companies are basically when you enter from Formula 2 to Formula 1, they put you there to see if he's actually capable, right? It is not just, let's be logical, okay? As a Mercedes fan, if I was in a Mercedes team, principal management team, I would give the driver a position in Williams, see how he performs, because I know it's my powertrain. I know what is capable of that car. So if I see that he's capable enough to drive my Mercedes car, I would push him here. That's number one. Number two is name change. I just think name change is just a way of getting a trend or a hype up for that to get people talking about it. I don't think there's a reason to change names. I don't think there's a reason to do any sort of changes unless until somebody's bought the team, right? That's a whole different. So I think it's not necessary to change the name. Maybe they just want to do it because it's been there for so long, or somebody might be superstitious, saying that okay, when it was Toro Rosso, it was doing much better. What is this AlphaTauri? Plus, AlphaTauri is a luxury brand, so I guess people don't. Maybe they're trying to get out of that sector where they're like, oh my god, AlphaTauri is a luxury clothing brand. Why is it a Formula One brand? So maybe they're trying to get away from that. There's so many insights to this between the lines. I don't know. What do you think about it, Jason?
I like the way you've said the name changes are basically just for hype and to generate that. I completely agree with this because you're just changing the name, but then the staff are the same, the background of the team is same, everything is same except the name and maybe the change of colors and whatever. But so yeah, I agree with that. Maybe they should just shut down AlphaTauri completely and no Toro Rosso, no AlphaTauri, and divert all that attention into Red Bull and make Red Bull a good, or have Red Bull show a better merchandise or merch line.
You would never do that, Jason, because they need their upcoming drivers training for the Red Bull cars from the AlphaTauri cars. That's what I think.
But if the car isn't that great, then what's the point? It's like you're putting someone in a Williams. Let's go to 2020. You're putting someone in a Williams, and then next season you're saying, okay, you're gonna race in a Mercedes. Like, look at the power difference. Might as well just give them a practice one and keep it in Silverstone or somewhere, wherever, or in Austria, and practice over there. Simple as that.
Okay, I agree with that point, Jason, but I'm just saying, driving a Formula One car as a Mercedes, let's say back then when it was fast, I would never give a kid to drive a Mercedes car unless until I didn't see any performance from the other, not so powerful as Mercedes, but something that is capable of Mercedes. If my dad gave me Ferrari the first day I started my driving, I would, as a father, I'll be like, no way. You drive some other car, get experience out of the car. Let me see how you handle that car. And then once you're capable enough, I think when I'm capable enough, I will put you in a Ferrari. But right now, I want you to show me how you do in these training shoes before I put you in these actual sport shoes.
I agree with your point 200%. But also, I think we have to be realistic on, does an AlphaTauri replicate a Red Bull? That's just the line between them, or the line that divides these teams.
Same team. It's the same team.
Yeah, it's the same team. But the car is the car. Look at the car. It's completely different.
Yeah, but again, like I said, you won't give a person from F2 a F1 car because it's so different. So they're gonna start off really slow with him, see how he is in let's say AlphaTauri. When he's capable enough of handling those kind of speeds, with the performance, with the drama, with the press conference, then maybe they can see, okay, this guy is good enough, let's shift him. Arjun can decide what's going on.
When I started watching Formula One, I thought Williams was Mercedes' junior team. Okay, then after I'm like, okay, no, it's like an entirely different situation. It's just like Mercedes and just ends up giving them the powertrain at max. It's nothing more than that. Mm-hmm. But then, see, George ended up driving for Lewis in Bahrain when Lewis tested positive. It was just because George kind of proved it on the Williams, saying that, okay, he can drive and kind of get it there. It's not like, okay, I agree to your point here on that, say, you need to first get trained up and kind of get up and running so that you end up, once you have the opportunity, you can go and do it. But then, okay. But then let me take the example of Pierre Gasly. Okay, Pierre Gasly started off in Toro Rosso, doing insane performance, so nice. He joined Red Bull. He got axed out of Red Bull. Okay, with the entire thing of junior team, he got experience driving on a Formula One car. All those things are done. Okay. But when he got into a little more powerful car, he just lost it there.
I think the transition from AlphaTauri to a Red Bull car is really big, and I feel like he should have given more time to really experience what a Red Bull car is. And Red Bull cars are fast, man.
They're fast, they're powerful. I mean, just look at them in the corners. I'm just saying.
Just swifting. It's not even a. It's like butter on a track, you know. They just really easily overtake everyone with the outside line. They know how the defense works. It's crazy. Now I think they were being really harsh on him because he was like, "Oh, it must be the same thing." Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was just intimidated by all the pressure that, oh my God, he drives a Red Bull car, he has to come top two or has to come top four. I think that pressure also builds up. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, they should have definitely given him more time. It was unfair on him because they just let him go in within the season, right? And then getting used to such a car, such power, it's not an easy task. Imagine, just an example in Dubai, if you're driving a Toyota Corolla and then all of a sudden you switch and you get an Audi or a BMW, the difference is going to be massive. That's it. So you just have to learn how to manage with that. And if Pierre was given more time, that would have been one interesting battle because I know he would still be at Red Bull, and then that would be Pierre versus Max, and that would have blown up. But yeah, that's just what I feel.
Yeah, that would definitely be an interesting take, though. Honestly,
Mhm.
like, but because it's just that, say, he wasn't given much time. In 1 year, you can't kind of like show a lot. Like, say, I think it was the same fate even for Alex Albon. He was also accent, but in, like, say, with the Williams, he's achieving something really massive. So, like, yeah, that's definitely something which, say, okay, I have kind of like a mixed reaction with this. Okay, either they should sell Toro Rosso to Porsche because Porsche is seriously trying so hard to kind of get into Formula One.
Mhm.
Because their sister brand Audi is next year onwards, and like it's just an Porsche not making it there. Actually, just some make it sound a lot odd. But then like either they should sell it to Porsche and then get that as a team and kind of stuff, and then try getting in some data from there, or else keep the team, just like keep the team, and like yeah, try to bring those cars at least to the levels of a Red Bull, so that Bull makes a total sense. Anyways, guys, you guys, I like. Okay, I know we all are excited for Melbourne Grand Prix happening over the weekend, but did you know a fact that Max Verstappen has never made it to win the Australian Grand Prix? Never, ever in his racing career, he has won an Australian Grand Prix. Can you believe that? I only got to know that today. Like last year, the first year when he raced, he retired. Last year in 2022, when he was racing, he retired. So, like, that actually took me to a surprise. I'm like, okay, this is something an interesting fact. Is there like a curse though on Max with and Australia? God knows.
Look, I mean, I have nothing to say other than I really think that will change this year because there's no way in heaven and hell that Mercedes is gonna change something in the next 2 weeks. But if there's a miracle that happens, that Red Bull maybe has a power issue engine, or God forbid crashes, or anything that something sorts happen, then maybe Mercedes would have a chance to at least come top five. But I think that might change. Jason, what do you think?
Max is gonna win. I feel. Man, the car is too good. Though. The car is just
you dum to support Leclerc, man.
the car, bro. It's the car. Just look at the car. When you see the car, the capacity, the capability on that, and with Max as the driver, it's an easy win for them. But yeah, let's see what happens. Maybe at the start something interesting happens, and you never know.
Like yeah, and as I said this earlier, all the first three races are of different natures. So this race is very important for Mercedes because if they don't prove it in this race, they need to give all the reserved Mercedes engines to Aston Martin so that Fernando Alonso could get it done and kind of save the name. Not save the name like much, but then like on like a part situation. But still, like, yeah, that's there. But like, yeah, I think we kind of our gossip kind of ended up going on to pretty intense and heated conversation. So like, yeah, any final thoughts, guys?
I don't have a final thought, but I just want to say one thing, and I wanted your guys' opinion because I have a very strong opinion on this. This morning, there was an update with the Formula One news where Toto Wolff said that I don't mind copying or taking its and bits of the Red Bull car interrogated in the Mercedes car, right? And I don't think. Okay, I'm gonna give my opinion in the last. But what do you guys think about this whole situation where Mercedes is copying Red Bull aerodynamic, powertrain, the small switches? What do you think about that? Do you think Mercedes should copy that, or Mercedes should come with something new?
Okay, so this is the thing. So over the like 5 days ago, Sky Sports actually put this quote from Lewis Hamilton, and he says over there that you put Red Bull side pods to our car, it won't change a thing. Literally won't, and it literally won't change anything. It might sometimes go slower, no idea. So it's all about the aero characteristics and how the car is balanced through the corners. So like, yeah, as in for Toto, yes, he has to save his face, okay, because being a 7-time winner team, as in an eight-time winning constructor, for them it's again saving the face. One season is fine. Go more than one season is not fine. So like, yeah, as in he doing, I don't think that's going to do it as such. It more probably might be like a media gimmick at most.
Mercedes. I don't know if they're gonna copy the car or bits and pieces of it when they have a great resource in Aston Martin. So maybe Aston's gonna help them out, and they're gonna have an agreement between both teams, and they're gonna figure out something. Because then if they do go to Red Bull and then they say, oh, we need your help, then the biggest competitiveness or the main two competitors are going to collaboratively work, and that just spoils it all for all of the fans. So I don't think they should do that, but more go to Aston and say, okay, we need help with this. Can you give us something?
Fair. But like, yeah, Mihir, like, okay, since you told you'll finally get your thing on that, what do you think?
Okay, so I have like this whole paragraph that I wrote down because I thought I'd ask you guys.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so when teams copied from Mercedes, right, in the start of the turbo hybrid era, it was seen as a logical move to give your team a fighting chance. So Mercedes did actually say, go ahead, go for it, take our hybrid era concept. It will be equal races. I kind of agree with that, right? So now that when Mercedes copies Red Bull, it's a weak and desperate move for some reason. And the reason why I don't agree, I mean, why is it looked down upon? I mean, if Mercedes is happily giving out their resources a few years ago with the hybrid era and the DRS concept where, Lewis Hamilton can move his steering wheel up and down, which was legal. And Mercedes never hesitated saying that you guys didn't do it. We did it. You guys want to copy? Go for it. So I don't know why is it looked down upon. I mean, Mercedes has not always been helpful, but Mercedes has always been open regarding its technical issues.
Of course.
So why is it now that Toto needs a desperate help when Toto is on a time crunch, when Toto needs to fight for Mercedes to lose his power of authority to Aston Martin, when all the swords are down, you keep your chin up and go find other resources to get your team back at the pace you want it to be. So what he's doing right now is not copying. It's literally just him trying to get the best he can from a competitor. And as a competitor of Red Bull, if they disagree with this, they're a bad sport. Because then they're scared of losing. Because they already have the powertrain, they already have the speed. What are you scared about? That Mercedes will actually come up with a better car if you copy a few hits and bits? What do you think, guys?
Jason, go start off with this.
You make a very good point of saying what are they scared of. Yeah, they shouldn't contest against it. Again, it's an agreement that either team can do. But I believe Red Bull should also be. Okay, let me ask you this: if you feel back then in 2020, if Ferrari and Red Bull collaborated together, how do you think Toto would react, or how do you think you guys would react? If a team that's you're dominating, out of nowhere these two teams come up and they're in that place where you were in. So how would you feel then? It's the same that goes here as well. Red Bull don't want to lose that because they've, again, this is what I believe, or my point of view, that they've developed that and we've worked hard to reach there. So that's
I
what's
kind of blame Netflix for this because I think Netflix has put this whole drama in their head.
Okay, where this is now flying out to from?
I'm just saying, there was never this competitiveness. We knew that Mercedes and Red Bull are competitors, but we never made it a point, and they never said that they hate each other. Red Bull, Mercedes don't hate each other. They're just really they're strong competitors, right? But Netflix made us think that these guys hate each other.
I think they are very successful in kind of pushing that narrative on, say, okay, this is the situation, and say, bring, okay, instigate that groupism of Red Bull fans, Mercedes fans, and say, just be like, okay, those both are arch rivals, they do everything. I'm going to be a little bit diplomatic over here. So, okay, Mercedes did that because I know when before Aston Martin was Racing Point, and Racing Point's cars were called the Pink Mercedes because the car almost had the exact design of W11 or 12, if I'm not wrong, right? W12, yeah, of a W12. So they weren't having Mercedes didn't have any problem with it. They were pretty chill about it. They're like, okay, they're a customer team. They're using the stuff. It's fine. It's up to them. But okay, other than the Netflix thing though, I feel Red Bull is actually making some noise. Because last year the same thing was put in. Red Bull actually put in a claim with FIA saying that, okay, these guys have copied our car. This year I'm like, okay, they cannot kind of do the exact same thing, like do the entire loop, right? Come on, that's like just idiotic. But this is something which I think which would basically need like hours of discussion, and we have crossed 15 minutes for the first time. So I think this has been like a really really good chat, guys. We kind of ended up giving really strong opinions on what we thought about these things, and if you guys enjoyed the grid gossips, please do let us know on our Instagram, on any of our social platforms, or even you can leave it on put in a rating on Spotify and let us know. And until next time, this is myself, Arjun, and my chaps down here, Mihir and Jason, all of us signing out.